Today's video has been sponsored by our partners at the Sojourn, which returns with episodes 7, 8 and 9 of Season 2. This critically acclaimed audio drama features a full voice cast, including Dominic Keating from Star Trek Enterprise and Ben Prendergast from God of War Ragnarok and Apex Legends. You can get all released episodes of both seasons of the show on Nebula, Spotify, Google Books, Apple Books and others, including at any tier on the Patreon linked below. Higher tiers come with tons of downloadable bonus content like behind-the-scenes art books, ship charts and wallpapers, a cross-section poster, anthology shorts and more. If you don't know what the Sojourn is, then head over to their YouTube channel for free samples as well as extra lore content and ship breakdowns. The Sojourn, Season 2, Volume 3, out now. Kinetic Kill Vehicles, or KKVs for short, are missiles that work through sheer impact energy alone and are used right now to intercept ballistic missiles in the upper atmosphere or even in space, and as anti-satellite weapons. Because they're meant to work in vacuum, their design also makes them perfect for using in space-to-space warfare. This vacuum-optimized design does have similarities to, and differences from, the typical missile we see in real life and most popular sci-fi. Both regular missiles and KKVs have sensors at the very front, but on a KKV it's going to be more like a telescope. They both have an engine system at the back to move, but a KKV also uses engines to rotate and to shift sideways, where a missile can only rotate using fins and thrust vectoring. They both have batteries and computers to go between the two previous parts, telling the device where it is and where it needs to go. No difference here really. But a big difference is the KKV has no warhead or trigger system for it, since it is the payload. So, why are KKVs different? Let's start with the sensor, which typically on KKVs is a big infrared camera, used because the background of space makes the heat from any active object stand out against it. Passive radar only works on something that emits a signal to track down, and active radar needs power and cooling to work, though to be fair, IR sensors do also need cooling. Some designs have more than one sensor, which is good because that's more information to work with, and makes them more resistant to electronic warfare countermeasures, which we'll talk about later on. The downsides to more sensors is that each one adds mass and cost, so there's trade-offs. Next, the engines, which for going forward are the same as a regular missile. Throw mass one way, missile goes the other. The difference is that a KKV needs engines to rotate, since aerodynamic surfaces do nothing. And they also have engines to rapidly and accurately slide left, right, up and down, letting them keep their sensor pointed at the target while also changing the vehicle's path. The thing with real KKVs is that they are all sent up to their targets aboard a booster rocket, since they need help getting up to speed and above the atmosphere. Ones already in space may not need that, but a booster stage could still be handy for going further away, or for going faster, so that reaction time to shoot it down is shorter. We'll get to this idea in more detail later, but a target also needs to burn its engines more to evade a booster-equipped KKV, since one of those can chase its target down for much longer before running out of propellant. But a downside is boosters take up space and mass on the launching craft that could be spent on something else, like another KKV. One interesting way this has been done in real life is the Multiple Kill Vehicle, or MKV, which you might have seen in the video of it hovering around in a cage on spurts of rocket power like some sort of technological zoo animal. Unlike what Battlefield 4 might think, this isn't some newfangled rocket drone for shooting at stuff on the ground. It's more like a mothership for many small KKVs, those dummy canisters on the test vehicle, to get them near their group of targets for deployment. There's a lot of the smaller ones to deal with multiple warheads mixed in with decoys, and they get told what to do by their mothership. The big sensors and many engines are all in service of flying so accurately that the KKV directly impacts its target, preferably in a vulnerable spot. In the role of ballistic missile defense, even a glancing hit can knock a warhead off target, or put it into an uncontrollable spin which puts it in danger of burning up on re-entry. A proper hit would obliterate the warhead, since it's just not designed to withstand something slapping it at several kilometers per second. Things are even worse for the target if it's a spacecraft, which is what anti-satellite KKVs and those we may see in future space combat are designed to defeat. Space technology is well built and to very high standards, but it's also meant to be as lightweight as possible, and lightweight things don't hold up to being hit by objects, whether they're going tens, hundreds, or thousands of meters per second. This is made worse by spacecraft having components that can render it functionally useless if they get damaged, like solar panels or radiators. And even worse still is propellant tanks, which are kept pressurized. Pierce one of these and it's likely to violently burst, and that uncontrolled release of mass is going to put insane forces on the rest of the craft, if it even survives the initial impact event intact. Another feature that older KKVs had was vanes or spokes that stuck out their sides, making them bigger and increasing the chances of getting a hit. As guidance systems improved over the years, such things became needless dead weight and stopped being included. And with the miniaturization of computer components, the KKV itself also got smaller. And what smaller vehicles mean is that you can carry many, many more of them. And I do mean many. The real-life French Aquitaine class frigate carries around 40 missiles of various types. A similarly sized French ship in the Lunar War carries 1,500. More KKVs means more probability of taking out your target, since every single one is a threat, and all of them need to be dealt with to survive. So how do you do that? Firstly, as briefly said earlier, it's through evasion. Doing an engine burn forces an incoming KKV to do one of its own to adjust, ideally to the point where it runs out of propellant and therefore misses. Now, I'm not sure what the best flight path is here. You could try weird, unpredictable turns like you may do with dumb kinetic weapons, or go directly perpendicular to the incoming vehicle to force the biggest change in trajectory. Alternatively, move directly away from them to create the most time for other countermeasures to work, such as electronic warfare. If you can blind or confuse the KKV sensors, then it can no longer track your evasion and will miss, though this does get difficult when they're using data links to get their information from elsewhere. In general, the world of countermeasures and countermeasures is very murky, very complex, and very classified, so this is harder to talk about and understand than just shooting the bloody thing with point defense weapons. The further away you can do that from, the better, so light-speed lasers or near-light-speed particle beams are ideal for this task. You can do this with kinetic weapons, but they have a lot less time to react, to the point where the fragments of a destroyed vehicle might still hit your ship and wreck you. This is also a great use case for some type of guided flying thing that's optimized for intercepting fast-moving objects. Can anyone think of something that does that? No matter the chosen weapon, it's all complicated by incoming KKVs potentially doing evasive maneuvers, or your own sensors being jammed, and the number of them that are incoming. There's only so much EW equipment aboard a spacecraft, and only so many weapons that can be doing point defense, so a high enough number of KKVs becomes mathematically impossible to defeat. Which is why having many more small ones may be preferable, especially when they work defensively too. The trade-off is that lasers are likely to always outrange them, and that each KKV has a mass penalty. More mass means less maneuverability. This is also the Achilles heel for armor, which severely impacts your spacecraft's performance. So, realistic kinetic kill vehicles, missiles optimized for operation in vacuum, have a lot of differences to those typically seen in popular sci-fi, leading to a type of combat that becomes almost mathematical. While they are potent, there are also many complications to their use, especially when it comes to building, carrying, and countering that many vehicles. And they also aren't appropriate for every setting to use, with regular missiles better suiting more unrealistic or stylized stories. You can support Spacedock by joining our Patreon, where you can get our frigate, fighter, carrier, and battleship design reference books, as well as early access to upcoming videos and wallpapers. Alternatively, become a channel member here on YouTube. To our supporters, thank you.